Hi guys, how is everyone feeling today? I wanted to try something new and do sort of like a check-in at the very beginning of this video. So we're gonna use this cute emoji scale here. Where would you place yourself? And you can pause the video to give yourself more time to think about this. And now that you have an emoji picked out, are you able to choose or decipher an emotion that you're feeling related to that emoji? So, for example, if you pick the green emoji, are you feeling confident or hopeful today? Maybe you pick the middle emoji because you're having a hard time feeling or just feel indifferent in general in this present moment. So, if you are having some difficulty with finding a word to place your emotion in this moment, here is the wheel of emotions. And you can use this to basically find a way to describe how you're feeling. And I always leave this linked in the description box if you find this helpful. But yeah, take some time if you need to put a word to what you're feeling and into the scale rating that you just gave yourself. Okay, so you have rated yourself on the scale. You've chosen a word that you feel like best matches what you're currently feeling in this moment. And so for some people, you may find it helpful to let other people know how you're feeling. So if you feel like it would be healing, helpful, therapeutic to leave in the description what you're feeling, maybe if it's just the emoji that you used or the word that you chose from the wheel of emotions. Or maybe you want to share that with someone in real life as well, like a loved one, a partner, a friend. That way you can kind of talk about how you're feeling, even if it is that you're feeling really good today and you want to share that with someone. That's also like totally fine. So I'll share with you guys how I'm feeling. So in this present moment, I picked the middle emoji and I'm really feeling worried and nervous in this present moment. But we will see what the rest of the day entails and how that may or may not change as the day goes on. So you know how you're feeling, you know how I'm feeling. So we did a check in and let's get into the next part of this video. So, if this is your first time here or you've seen another reading of mine, this channel is a space for you so that you can feel safe, seen, heard, and understood. And I can't forget to feel comfortable as well. So, this is the perfect time to go and grab a drink, whether a hot or cold beverage, a coffee, a tea, some water, or something else entirely. You can take this time to make sure that you take care of you emotionally and physically as well. So, in today's reading, we'll be talking about your life in some detail regarding challenges that you may be facing, as well as some of the things that you may already have at your disposal to help you out. Because sometimes we don't really realize what those things are. So I always want to be a gentle reminder of the strengths that you guys already have, the ones that you're building, or ones that you may find helpful to add to your toolkit. So let's get into it. So we have three piles that you can choose from today: pile one, pile two, and pile three. You can take as long as you need to pick which pile you feel most drawn to. If this is your first time watching a tarot reading or you're just having some difficulty choosing which pile you feel most drawn to, one thing that may be helpful is closing your eyes and maybe pointing at the screen and seeing which pile you feel most drawn to in that way. Sometimes I like to close my eyes and I will just like hear a number, and that is a number I'll go with. Also, sometimes you may feel drawn to more than one pile, which is totally fine. Sometimes there's two messages in a reading for you, or like one main message and then something important in another pile that you'll want to listen to as well. So, whichever piles you feel drawn to, take as long again as you need to, and I will see you there. Hi guys, welcome to today's reading, pile one. So today we're going to be talking about everything you need to hear. So we're leaving the message really open and wide today. That way, whatever message you guys need the most is the one that will come through. We're going to be talking about the past, the present, and what the future may look like. We'll also talk about some of your strengths that are going to help you to get through any challenges that come up, and then some pleasant surprises as well. So we have a lot to talk about. So without waiting, let's get into it. So for the past card here, we have the Page of Cups. And with this Page of Cups, the first thing I'm kind of getting is that there was someone in your life in the past. This could be a long time ago, more recent. This does feel a little bit more recent for a lot of you guys. But someone who was dishonest with you, someone who told you a lie within a like romantic or a platonic relationship. So like friends or lovers type situation, although this could be family for some. But this feels like someone being really dishonest and just not letting you know something that was really important for you to know. And instead of them coming out to you, they kind of just sat back and hoped that you wouldn't find out, but you eventually did find out. And so I feel like that's what this Page of Cups is kind of talking about here, and not affecting how you've been able to cope recently. And I feel like the coping is coming up because this may have felt like a betrayal for you, or something that you haven't had to experience before, and so you're really trying to figure out how to navigate taking care of yourself and being really kind to yourself, in the presence of what kind of took place. So for the present, we have three cards for you guys. The first one being the Nine of Swords. And so the Nine of Swords for me here really kind of talks about that mental torment, because the swords oftentimes does deal with the mental, our thoughts, our mindsets, our mental beliefs. But I feel like this is really talking about, insomnia, not getting restful sleep, from being stressed and worried, kind of like those feelings that, throughout the day we kind of like maybe purposefully or not purposefully try to avoid mentally dwelling on certain things. But when the nighttime comes and, there's no background music in the room and nothing to distract us, I feel like for you guys, when you lay your head down to go to sleep, it kind of keeps you up at night. And if you're able to finally fall asleep, you don't really get restful sleep. Like maybe you're having like dreams that kind of like shadow this betrayal. And so maybe that has also like interrupted some of you guys' sleep. But there's definitely a sense here of, that kind of being like a huge problem. And so we also have the Justice card here. So whatever it was that this person did, well, one, it definitely wasn't justified. So maybe for some of you guys, this person has maybe said some things like along the lines of trying to throw the blame back at you, when really this had nothing to do with you or anything that you did wrong. And so maybe it's been kind of difficult for you to separate what they've been telling you from what you know to be true. So this card is kind of coming here to say that you know you best, in the sense that whatever initial feeling that you had about this not being a you thing, that feels like definitely true in this scenario. And we also have the Hierophant here. And I want to clarify the Hierophant for you guys. So can we clarify the Hierophant? Because I feel like I'm getting a sense of what this um, card is trying to say, and I just want to make sure. Yeah. So with the Solitude card here, clarifying the Hierophant, let's get one more card as well. Thank you. Yeah, this is related for most of you guys to like self-identity and like your group of people, and I think that um this may be involving like one person who told a lie or was dishonest with you, but a group of people who may be either backing them up or not really being as supportive as you need them to be in this time. And so I think that for some of you guys, this is really resulting in a sense of being alone. But also like how we were talking about before, needing to kind of like, I believe this was your pile, needing to kind of like figure out how to, not quite knowing how to move forward or needing to figure out how to move forward. And so for you guys with the cozy card here, it's partly talking about like trying to figure out ways in which you can make yourself feel good. So like if you're into like reading a book and maybe you know haven't really had the time to read a book, but also too like allowing yourself to really grieve the loss of something. So you know maybe this was a betrayal that you can't really forgive because of you know what they did, like you wouldn't be able to really like trust this person again, and so for you it may not make any sense to go through the process of forgiving because there's really no relationship that you see in the future with this person. And so um really just like in your alone time, feeling out how to take care of you. So let's see what this future card is saying. So yeah, we have the death card. So this is, yeah, definitely talking about the end of something, either the end of like this relationship with this person that you've decided, or the end of um this friend group for you. But yeah, definitely something here with like an ending. But what I do want to say here is that this ending, the death card, definitely talks about an ending that is good for us, something that is quote unquote natural. I want to use the word natural because just as life is natural, so is death. Like can't exist, one exists with the other. And so, in this sense, I almost feel like you guys have been going through this process of developing a sense of self, developing a sense of self identity, and I won't say that this thing didn't happen to kind of like age you, but I feel like you've taken up a mindset where you've um, maybe seen this as an opportunity to continue doing some of the work that you were already wanting to do. Maybe especially because some of these people may have not been either supportive or kind of in line with the person that you're wanting to become. But that doesn't mean that it makes this change or loss or grief any easier. This may just be a mindset that you individually find helpful. And so if that's not a mindset that you find helpful, please don't feel like that's a mindset that you have to take on. Each of us are like really unique individuals, and you know what mindsets work for us or what changes in thought work for us are numerous. So yeah, but there's definitely a sense here of um, being alone, like rediscovering who you are as a person, but first needing to like really grieve the person that number one you used to be, the people that used to click with you, um, and also too, there's a sense here of, I want to say, not quite knowing who you are. That's what this kind of feels like. Like, kind of like how this individual in this card here is hooded, but you can't see a face. But there's also like this ball that they're looking into. So this gives me a strong sense of like, who am I? I feel like you guys don't know yet. Sorry, that is not a sentence. But like you guys may not be feeling like you know yet, and that's okay to feel that way, especially in this transition period. So don't feel like you need to know yet. You know, eventually you will get to that point, but it can be very hard to be in that space, to be in a body and feel like there is not a sense of self within this body, if that makes sense. But underneath the deck, we have here tribe, just kind of like mirroring, I feel like, you know, the community that you have with others, but also like that communion that you have with yourself. All right, so we have past, present, future that we've talked about. Let's talk about some of your strengths, some more of the challenges that may come up that you can, you know, kind of use these strengths to help with. And then any positive surprises that you guys have to look forward to. So, I want to talk about strengths. I'm going to put these cards back in the deck because I really like to use these cards for talking about things like that. And then mentioning strengths, you know, oftentimes we may not necessarily think of ourselves as a strong individual, but every single person has a strength. And even though it may be hard for you to identify what that is, I hope that, you know, this next part of a reading can really help you to figure out what those things are. And these can be so numerous. So you'll see as we go here. So what are some of the strengths of pile one? Either related to the situation or not. Just in general, I want to talk about some of you guys' strengths. Because this is going to be really, you know, what can get you guys through some of the challenges that you face, especially this one. All right. All right, so let's start with these cards here. So the first one we have here is patience. So with the patience card, I feel like this is talking about being patient, but not patient with others. Not to say that you aren't patient with others, but I feel like this is wanting to focus on patience with yourself. I think a lot of people can be really hard on themselves and feel like they need to kind of like be done with whatever emotion they're experiencing at the time. But I feel like you guys don't do that to yourself. Maybe you used to, but you don't anymore. Where you really just allow yourself in the moment to be feeling how you're feeling. And maybe if you don't feel like that's you right now, that's what you're moving in towards, you know, with dealing with the situation. So allowing yourself to grieve and allowing yourself to cry when you need to cry, allowing yourself to laugh when you need to laugh, allowing yourself to just experience the full spectrum of emotions. And that is really a strength of yours because for a lot of people, when we aren't allowing ourselves or don't feel capable of dealing with unpleasant emotions, it's really easy um, to not allow ourselves to let go of things. And so we did have that card here, let go as well. Um, and so that's another strength tied to your patience with yourself, that because you are allowing yourself to experience these unpleasant emotions, you're able to move away from people and situations that don't feel good for you anymore. And you really are able to trust your gut instinct very much so. So, although you may not have a rational reason, or you may not have, you know, something that you can physically see as why you just feel like this isn't a good space for you anymore, you really do trust your gut. And so, for maybe some of you as well, you had a sense that something was off, and so you really couldn't figure out what it was yet with this person, but eventually you know had that aha moment, or something was exposed, and you know you really got even more proof on why you are so much so able to trust your intuition. So we also have the card of vulnerable. And so I feel like this card vulnerable is connected to the patience card. But you are very open with the people that you trust. And I think that is why this deceit or this lie that this person told really kind of hit home because you were very open with this person. You didn't lie to them. You put their best interest first. You made sure that they were good, while also making sure that you were good. And they just didn't do the same for you. And I think that that is why this was such a huge issue, and maybe for some why this is not a relationship that you see yourself wanting to heal or fix or put back together, because that's just something that is not a um, that's not a thing that you're willing to compromise on. Like, it's very important for you guys to have people in your life who you do that for, but that they also do for you in return. Um, so yeah, and then lastly we have the card whole. So as a strength, the whole card kind of tells me that you are you're kind of the whole package. I think this is something that you don't see in yourself, but others kind of see. And I think for some people who don't feel like they are worthy of that can kind of like sabotage that. So maybe you've come across like romantic partners where they've been very like enamored with you, very like in love with you, but for some reason they seem to just kind of drop the ball. And this may be due to them just kind of not feeling worthy of like your awesomeness, if that kind of makes sense. But you really do have a lot going for yourself, and I know that sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but you know, for the group that you are, where you have patience and you're very emotionally in tuned, and you're very in tuned with your, you know, gut instinct and your intuition, and you know, it feels like you guys are a group that you have boundaries because you're not willing to put up with people or things that don't suit you, and you're very willing to let them go. That's a whole package type of person, and that's you. Those are the strengths that you have. So you know, if that's not something that you were aware of, I hope that, you know, us getting to talk about it here really highlights these strengths for you. And also, please know that these are not your only strengths. These are just the strengths that we are talking about here in this reading, but there are other strengths if you allow yourself to be open to discovering what those things are, or just to simply be able to put words to them. You know, something as simple as having hobbies that you can run to. You know, you had that card here earlier, cozy, which I often usually associate with hobbies. So that also being one of your strengths, where you have things that you like to do for fun, so that you know people don't end up being the only thing that you enjoy, if that makes sense. I think for this group, it's important that you have your own thing, because we also had the solitude card for you earlier. So there's definitely like this importance of having things that are just yours that you can do on your own. Maybe, for example, like if someone has a partner that they really love, but they also are like this cozy gamer, and they really like to spend some of that time by themselves, separate from their partner. Um, or just like being in the presence of people that they love and care about, but doing like individualized tasks. That way you still feel like you get a sense of solitude and connection to self, while also later being able to enjoy the company of other people. All right, so let's put these cards back in the deck and let us see what surprises do we have coming, positive surprises, but also what challenges may come up for you guys. So, so what? Ooh, okay. So we have. There's a lot of cards that came out. I'm filling out which ones. We have love and action that are coming out as challenges. And we also have seek and manifest, okay? And we're going to pull more cards as well to talk about what challenges you may be facing. But, you know, we've already kind of talked about that a little bit. But with the seek and love card here, this is talking about rediscovering after you get the chance to discover who you are, rediscovering and reevaluating the relationships that you have in your life. So I think that you guys definitely have solid connections. Maybe that's with a parent or a best friend or a cousin or a coworker who's become a friend, or like friends that you grew up with. I think that there are still connections that you guys either already have or are wanting to develop. But I think that also for some of you guys, you're looking for love and intimacy. Is this in a relationship, like a romantic relationship? That's what I'm curious about. Is this a romantic relationship? I don't think this is the deck to be asking. Which is a good deck to ask. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's clarify. Is this a romantic relationship with the Seek Love card? Because this could be a couple of different things. I want to know what, because they're saying it's a challenge. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. Can we clarify the Two of Wands, please? We have the Page of Wands. And we also have the Star. With the Two of Wands in reverse, the Page of Wands, and the Star, the message I'm getting with this is that right now you're really thinking about what is important to you, and because the seek love, kind of that phrase is what we're trying to get more clarity on. This is you really looking inward and focusing on what do you personally find important in love, in relationships, in friendships, and making sure that the people that you connect with in the future align with that. So I feel like this is you looking at not just do I have fun with this person, but how does this person treat other people? How does this person treat me? Even how does this person treat themselves? Because I think that you guys are wanting to know more fully um, what what people are truly like, right? So like maybe a person is really nice to you, or maybe a person is really funny when you guys hang out, but when you go out to eat they're really nasty to the wait staff, or they're really impatient with other people and unkind, those sorts of things. I think that you guys are moving forward really gonna be, I don't want to say challenge with, but I think that this is something that you are challenging yourself with. Like, you're wanting to make sure that you do the work of figuring out who a person really is before saying, let them into my inner circle, because you guys are really willing to be vulnerable with people, and you're really wanting to make sure that whoever you're vulnerable with, they're worthy of that honesty, of that deep connection, of you really opening up yourself to that individual. The Page of Wands also can talk about not quite knowing how to turn this like feeling that you have into action. And so I think that's why we have the manifest and action here, as well as cards for what's going to be challenging for you. Because okay, you may know that you want to put more care and concern into your inner circle and who you're friends with, but I think some of the things that we actually just talked about are ways that you may find it helpful to manifest this as action. Like, for example, if you meet a new person, like hanging out with them and their friends to see how they treat their already existing friends, going out to eat and like purposefully taking mental note to see how they treat the wait staff, like maybe like going somewhere where like maybe it's a restaurant where like it's a long wait, and kind of like seeing their reaction to hearing that it's going to be a wait. Like, are they impatient? Are they a patient person? Do they, kind of take things in stride, or do they like get angry with the person who's like the greeter at the door when it really has nothing to do with them? I think this is really like allowing yourselves to see this person in different settings and situations. That way you can kind of get a sense of what their character is. I think for you guys, you really find it important to not just hear what it is that they're telling you about themselves, but to see if what they're saying is in fact true. That way you really feel like you have the information and knowledge that you need. Um, what else as challenges? Yeah, I think that's really the biggest challenge for you guys coming up. And so let's see what surprise, like what are some positive surprises that pile one can look forward to? I want to say the first thing I'm hearing is, before I even let the cards fall out, um, friendships that you can trust. That's what I want to say. Like people that you can trust, because you know that what they say is what they do, and what they do is, their words match up with that as well. I think as well, um, we have the Eight of Pentacles. I think as well, people who are like willing to meet you in the middle, like they're willing to compromise. And the reason I say that is because in this card here, we see like two beavers, and they're drawing, like putting like sticks together, and kind of like getting the sticks to kind of slowly build so that they can meet each other in the middle. And that's kind of like the feeling that I'm getting, that what you have to look forward to is people who are going to do the work too. Like you're not the only one in future dynamics, future relationships who is a compromising person, who is an understanding person, who is a vulnerable person. This is kind of like what you're giving in the future in relationships is also what you're getting back. What else can pile one look forward to as positive surprises? So we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. So if you are familiar with tarot, you know that the Ten of Wands upright can usually signify like a sense of burden, something, like baggage that a person is carrying, that sort of thing. But we have it in reverse, meaning that your load is lighter. You're feeling lighter. You're feeling unburdened, because you know that you've kind of like, in a sense, like tested people, but not in like a way in which like you didn't trust them, but in a way in which seen them in their natural environments, and you really feel like you click with the people that you've now decided to hang out with and let into your circle. What else does pile one have as surprises? We have the Queen of Cups. So I feel like for you guys, you are really able to connect even more to your intuition, even more to your emotions, and even more to others, because I think that in the work that you're doing to feel people out and make sure that they are a good match with you, whether this is platonic or romantic, you are able to trust your instinct even more. So maybe when you first meet someone, you automatically get an initial sense of this person is for me or this person isn't for me. And as you kind of go along and get to see how they behave and how they talk and how they act, and if words match actions and vice versa, you see that what you initially thought was actually true, and that your initial gut instinct really was correct. King of Cups here in reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like a yin yang type of thing. Like it like, even if you like look at this, it feels like it just flows. Like, it just, I don't know. It's just and looking at it, it just flows. Like it makes me feel like whoever whoever is lucky enough to be your friend in the future, like they know that they are blessed to have you as a person in their life, and you also feel the same way, and you let it be known. I love that for you guys. So let us get a final message. I hope you can see my comfy. It's so comfortable. I love using it when we do a reading. So let's get a final message. We'll read this from the book. Wow, blessed. Blessed. Weren't we just talking about that? Literally, didn't I just say the word blessed? And you saw me shuffle that card on deck. Okay, all right, so let us get the book. That way you guys can hear the message straight from the book. Okay, all right, so that is 22. All right, so essential meaning is something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected. Grace that is an unforeseen gift from spirit. The oracle message. There are moments in life when out of the blue it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for all of your blessings guide you now. Relationship message. You are moving toward a deepening of intimacy in a unique and sacred partnership. You know you are meant to make this connection. This union, blessed by the divine, will bring transformation and beauty to the world. This is also a sign that, even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. With this new development, you will see evidence of grace in your life. And for anyone who, you know, this reading for them connected to like money or career, we have the prosperity message that says, unexpected windfalls and good fortune come your way now. You're in a phase where any difficulties or obstacles that have stymied your success seem to disappear on their own. Be ready to receive. The windows of opportunity will open wide. Accept the blessings given to you now and don't forget to share them. So, pile one, this is all that I have for you guys today. I loved this reading for you. Please never forget that even though we may not remember or feel like we have strengths, that we all have something that is a strength of ours that we can use in moving forward, even if it's just something as small as knowing that we have a support group or knowing that we have activities that we really enjoy doing that help us to relax. Or even that we know that we have access to the internet and things and videos that can help us to fall asleep at night when we feel like we're stuck and awake and stressed out and mind racing. I do want to quickly mention Yoga Nidra, just for you guys, if you are experiencing insomnia because you're stressed or worried about what's going on right now. I mention Yoga Nidra because it is basically like I want to say like it's not yoga in the sense of like something that you're physically doing. This is more like when you're going to sleep at night, and if you're having trouble sleeping, it basically, for the ones that I like the most, they run you through like focusing on different parts of your body. So like you'll be going to sleep and they're like, now put your awareness on your right elbow. Put your awareness on the tip of your nose. Put your awareness on the heel of your right foot, and just kind of like running through, like just focusing on those spots for some reason tends to really get my mind off of whatever it is that's keeping me up. So it may not work for you, but it may be helpful. And so I did want to mention it, and maybe it'll just spark some ideas of other things that you can use as well. So, pile one, if you found this reading helpful and you want to see more, readings like this, and you want to make sure that you get notified, don't forget to subscribe and to click that bell button. That way you'll get notified when new videos come out. Also, if you love this reading, maybe put a heart emoji down in the comment section and let me know what you loved about this reading. So yeah, thank you again for being here, guys. I really loved being able to share this message, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading today. We're going to be talking about everything you need to hear in this present moment. So we're going to be discussing your past and how that connects to your future. as well as what is going on in the present. And in the future, we'll be talking about what positive surprises do you have to look forward to? What can you be excited about that is coming up for you soon? And also just talking about some of the strengths that you have that are going to help you face any challenges that may be coming. So we really want to give you as much information as you have as possible, while also reminding you of the amazing, strong, resilient person that you are, even if you may not be feeling like that in the present moment. So let's get right into it. So we have for your past the Five of Swords. And the first thing I feel with this card is with the butterflies here, um, just this card makes me feel like someone has told you a lie about yourself, which has made you in the past feel like you were not beautiful, like you were not enough, just existing. Um, this makes me feel like someone that you knew in the past, or maybe you still know this person, has said things that were very hurtful and kind of took large chunks and really chipped at your self esteem, your sense of worth, your sense of beauty. But I feel like at the same time, they didn't take everything, right? Like, I think that you guys maybe just are dealing with a challenge of needing to find ways in which you are able to, I guess, disconnect from what it is that someone has said to you. So maybe you do feel beautiful and you do feel like you are deserving of love, but someone has said something that contradicts those feelings, and so you may be feeling like in this in between space of trying to erase whatever feelings have, like, I guess, come up in hearing those things, and not because those feelings um, are making you feel like you don't love yourself, but I think they've bothered you. I think that's the best way that I can explain it. That what they've said to you has bothered you, has kind of like, yeah, in the same sense, like it's how these like swords here are like pointed at the head of the skull. It's kind of like worked its way into your mind in very like subtle but like numerous ways, and I think that you're really trying to um regain that very strong sense of self, very strong sense of confidence that you had prior to whatever comment that they made. We have the card here, Tender. This makes me think of um, the feeling this person feels like they're not a tender person. I feel like this person is very self-critical of themselves, and I think that that is also a reason why they have been very self-critical with you. But what they're criticizing is not true. Like, maybe they hate their nose, and so they made a comment about your nose, or maybe they hate how they feel or look in their body, and so they've made a comment about your body. And although you never were self-conscious about yourself, I think maybe because this person was close to you, that you kind of like trusted this person's judgment, or you just like cared for this person, that the comment that they made really caused some disruption in how you feel about yourself. What else does pile one need to know? Yeah, I think pile one, definitely this is true. Like, you're a very warm person. You give very like loving, loving like energy, but also like I feel like you're the type of person to really keep it real with people, but in a way that comes off so sweet and kind. Like, this isn't a like tell them how it is without like any care or concern for how it may um how it may be received. I think you put a lot of effort into how things are received by the people that you talk to. And I think maybe too, like, that is part of the issue, like, that this person didn't pause to think to themselves, how could this have impacted my friend when I said it, or impacted my partner or my sister, whoever this, person is. They didn't take the time to kind of think to themselves, why am I even thinking this? Why am I even saying this? And I think that bothers you as well. Maybe for some, even more so than what it was that this person said. That they just were kind of thoughtless in the comment that they made. Anything else that pile 2 needs to hear for their past? Okay, all right. So let's talk about you guys' present. So we have the Page of Wands in reverse. We have the Magician. And we also have the Four of Pentacles. This Four of Pentacles can often talk about like holding on to something, but I feel like for you guys, this card makes me feel like you're letting go of something. Like there is this feeling of, again, trying to figure out how to let go of a certain feeling that you guys are having. And it's a feeling that you may not feel like you can put words to. That's what I'm also kind of getting. So together, I'm gonna try my best to like try and put words to those feelings with you guys during this video. But what I do want to say is that while you have this feeling, the Magician card also talks about having everything that you need to get achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So although you may not know what this is yet, we'll get to talk about this a little bit when we talk about your strengths. You do have what is required, what is needed to kind of like resolve this inner feeling of conflict, I guess maybe is initially how I would describe it. Um, just something just doesn't feel like it used to feel what before whatever this person said. Um, so yeah, and then what does your future kind of look like in regards to this situation? So with the Three of Wands, you may be feeling like you want to have a conversation with the person who made this comment. If you feel like this is a relationship you would like to continue, just to kind of let them know that what they said wasn't okay with you, it didn't make you feel good. And maybe you're the type of person also who likes to kind of figure out like why they said what they said in the first place to kind of like help them out. But really like figuring out like if you'd like to continue to be this person's friend, definitely is something that in the future you're thinking about. Also too, what I want to say is that whatever work that you end up doing, don't be too hard on yourself if you feel like there is no like physical manifestation of this, because I think that a lot of the work that you're doing really is internal. So while you may be making really big changes and strides mentally, emotionally, psychologically, this may not translate into something that you can see. Like if you were, making a change to like your hair or your clothing, that sort of thing. This is more inward. So kind of like allowing yourself to still congratulate the work that you've done, um, even though it may not be like physical. Yeah, action, exactly. Like congratulating and like giving yourself a pat on the back for the actions that you take. Um, and so, what are these actions? Taking care of yourself for sure. Um, like foot baths, soaks in the bath, um, laughter, humor. I think you guys may like to like watch rom-coms or like comedy movies, like deadpan comedy, or like that comedy that's like cringy, like that good cringy comedy. Um, for some of you guys, this is doing things that make you feel grounded. So maybe you like to do like activities with your hands, like puzzles, or like doing like Lego set type stuff, playing video games, that kind of stuff, or maybe even going out in nature if that's your thing. With the listen card here, maybe you like to do like podcasts, audio books, book clubs, movies, Netflix with Curious. Maybe you like to do like a lot of research, so maybe you end up like on that side of YouTube a lot. These don't all have to apply to you. So yeah, that is um, your like future kind of related to this situation. Okay, so let us get into some of your strengths. Pile two. All right, so let's see. What strengths does pile two have? And so oftentimes we may not feel like we have strengths, maybe, or maybe they're just not as obvious to us as we would like, but everyone has strengths, even if that's just something as simple as um, being willing to come and find a tarot reading, for example, where you can get confirmation on how you're feeling so that you feel more confident in the decisions that you will make in the future or are making currently. Um, Going out of your way to like research solutions and different options that you may have to move forward in a different situation. Like there's so many things that can be strengths. Having hobbies, having a support group, all of those things are strengths, and so many more things. So what are some of the strengths that pile two has? Let's see here. So I'm gonna use excuse me. I'm gonna use a different deck actually for you guys. All right, so for pile two, so let us focus on three strengths that pile two has. So what is pile two's first strength? So we have the Page of Cups for your first strength. And what is pile two's second strength? Nine of Swords. And then your third strength. Queen of Wands. So pile two. I feel like you guys are willing to be in tune with your emotions. And so this kind of can play out sometimes as letting yourself experience the ebbs and flows of those emotions. So with the Nine of Swords here, Nine of Swords card often talks about like anxiety, depression, skipping insomnia, like sort of those things that like torment us, especially like at night when we're trying to get rest, when we're trying to go to sleep. These are the things that keep us up at night. And so I feel like you guys have a really good way about you of being able to manage those things. And so this for you guys really means not trying to ignore the fact that things are keeping you up at night and really trying to tune in to what those things are. So with the Page of Cups here, where you see her looking at that fish in the cup, like this is you guys really looking inward and saying to yourself, what is bothering me? What is what's causing me torment? What is causing me emotional trouble? And you really get into it. Like maybe some of you guys are really hardcore journalers, or you really like to do, maybe for some of you guys, you find it really relaxing to do like Pinterest boards. of like your, like a mood board. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, but maybe you do it on Pinterest or like with photos. So like say you're feeling like really anxious, you may put like the colors that for you correspond to your anxiety on, on paper or on that Pinterest board or mood board, and then you put other photos that kind of like relate to that, and you kind of get it all out. That way you can let out all of the emotion into that thing. That way it doesn't feel like it's kind of lingering inside of you. And that way also that you may feel like you have an opportunity to put words to the things that you're experiencing. I think you guys also are really good with putting words to the emotions that you are having. Sorry if you keep seeing me like move my hand out the camera. There's like a gnat that keeps getting in my face. But if you feel like you're not yet there, where maybe you feel like you want a little bit more assistance with being able to put words to your feelings, if you go in the description section of this video, you'll see something that says Wheel of Emotions. And you can go to that link, and basically it's like a circle, and from like the most inner part of that circle you'll have like the core emotions that people experience, and as you work your way outside of the circle it'll get more and more specific to that emotion. So maybe a core emotion will be fear, and as you move your way out of it, it could be terrified or um disgusted. I don't know if those like actually both fall into that category, but you kind of get the idea. Like, it'll give you a larger vocabulary for the words that you may be feeling. Because I think that for some of you guys, a part of the introspective work that you like to do really is putting words to those feelings. That way, you can know the emotion that you're experiencing, and then also know the situation that is kind of bringing up that emotion. But you guys are badass. Like, this Queen of Wands here gives me a sense of like, yeah, I may be dealing with some shit right now, but I also know that that doesn't take away from me being an empowered, strong individual. That just because I may be feeling sad or depressed or anxious or worried doesn't mean that I don't have my shit together. I think that for you guys, you really do understand that you can do both, and that both can exist within being an empowered, stable, healthy individual. And so you guys really are living that life. Are you guys cat people as well? Like, I know there's a cat here, so like that could be very pretentious of me to be like, oh, there's a cat here, so you guys are cat people. But like, if you're a cat person, can you put a cat emoji in the comment section below? Because like I'm also a cat person. So hi guys. But yeah, like, you guys really know that um I think the belief that some people have about their mental health and about their emotions don't ring true for you, in the sense that just because you may be having a bad day doesn't mean that everything is bad. I think you guys have learned the skills needed to separate the two. And so kudos to you, because that's a really big thing. We're talking about your strengths here. Like, these are really huge strengths that you guys have. So please, please, please give a pat to yourself on the back. I'm giving you guys a pause here so you can pat yourself on the back. But yeah, like, you guys deserve a pat on the back, because that's not easy all the time, right? Like, but you guys are doing it nonetheless. All right, so we've talked about your strengths. Let's see if there are any other challenges that we may be dealing with related to this topic, but that these strengths can be assistance with, if that makes sense. Is there anything at all? If not, we will gladly move on. So we have gentle. Yeah, I think that if at any point in time in the future, because because we may be experiencing our strengths in a cyclical nature, so like there are times when we really feel like we can lean on this strength very easily, and then there are other times where we feel like it's a little bit harder to draw on that strength. I feel like the gentle card is kind of coming in to say that. I think you already know this, but as a reminder that, it's okay to not be able to always draw on that one specific strength, but that, we've talked about two or three other ones already. And then also that these aren't your only strengths, right? So sometimes because we deal with these things in cyclical natures, you may need to draw on something else. So maybe you are needing to like do aromatherapy when you don't feel like you can journal, or you've kind of like gotten sick of journaling as much, or maybe you like spice up your journaling. Maybe you go ahead and like get stickers and different like things to kind of like put in your journaling. Or I used to really love doing like collaging in my journal. Like I would like spice up the whole page and then like do writing in this very like extra type of way that I was talking. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like I would literally have to like pull out a journal to show you, but it was so extra, but also like was so freaking healing. And like I would like date it and like talk about like what I was currently struggling with, and oh my god, it was so healing to like allow my creativity to kind of mesh with releasing my emotions. And it really helped to motivate me to release a lot of what was just like really pent up. So I think for you guys, you're also kind of discovering different ways in which you can cope, I guess, like new strengths that kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. You're discovering new strengths, um, new ways of, again, um, yeah, like just new ways of, I guess, going with the flow. Like, is that the best way to describe it? Maybe. Like, just new ways of being able to get through life's challenges. And I think that's great because you're kind of adding to your toolkit of things to deal with the hard times in life, or to deal with certain people or certain things that people say, right? Um, yeah, you're figuring out more ways in which you can take action when you feel like action is needed. Like this feels like physical, hand tactile sorts of things. So maybe you start to get into like jigsaw puzzles and word puzzles. And have you guys ever played Wordle? Like WORDLE.com. It's like a daily puzzle type of thing, that kind of just like popped up. So maybe you already play it, or that's something that you would really like. What else? Like Sudoku, word search, crossword, puzzles. Um, what else? I'm trying to think. What else? We talked about like the Lego stuff. I've heard people say that they really like, what is it, like diamond painting or gem painting. If you Google it, you'll see like pictures. It's kind of like you put like beads in their designated areas until you come with like this beautiful picture. But yeah, there is a message here about you figuring out more coping skills that are hands based or active. Like maybe this is bike riding, rollerblading, going for walks, an emotional support animal that you can interact with. But that's what this is kind of talking about. And maybe that's why this cat card was here, like for you guys who are like considering emotional support animals. It doesn't have to be a cat or a dog. This could be a hamster, a mouse, a rat, a lizard, a snake, like, whatever that is for you that feels like a good emotional support animal and feels like a good fit. But um you guys are both like empowered, while also using that sense of empowerment to further expand your like mental health toolkit. That's what I want to say. Um, and with the embodiment card here was on the bottom of the deck, like you, like regardless of your sex or gender identity, like you guys are like, what is it, like, you know, they're uh like queen embodiment, like, you know, that type of feeling, like I got my shit together, like I'm the shit, like, but not in a conceited way, just like you take care of your mental health, you take care of yourself, and you also take care of yourself by letting yourself break down when you need to break down. Like you let yourself cry when you need to cry, and some people don't allow themselves to do that and they end up tormented without a release, or end up coping in ways that don't feel healthy for them, or really just like shut down altogether and can't really feel anything at all. They end up like numbed out. So, you know, this is really a strength for you guys, because if you've experienced also any of those things, you know the importance of being able to let yourself experience the unpleasant emotions, because my God, while it may be easy to say, it is one damn scary thing to do for a lot of us. And so the fact that you let yourself do it, emphasis on let yourself do it, is huge. It really is huge. So we have talked about your past, your present, your future. We've talked about, you know, the challenges that you may face, but also the strengths that you can use to work through those challenges. But let's also talk about the surprises, okay? Let's talk about the surprises that you guys can look forward to. So let's put these cards back in the deck. What positive surprises are coming up for you guys, pile two? So what I want to say is that you guys can look forward to recreating yourself, I think. Um, but it's a recreation of your internal state that feels even more strengthened than what you feel now. So when you felt really like confident and strong in yourself and this person said what they said to you, I think in the future what you have to look forward to as a surprise is that that same comment wouldn't affect you in the way that it did. Like, although you are very confident and very in touch with, you know that you're beautiful, you know that you're a strong individual, you know that you're smart and you're worthy, but I think that you are allowing yourself to better tune your relationships with people so that you don't have people in your inner circle who talk down to you. And I think that manifest being more confident, because it's the people in your life that you really expect to positively mirror the things that you need them to. So like, for example, you need your friends and your loved ones to tell you like that you are beautiful. Like, yes, you already know that you're beautiful, but to have someone reinforce that for you is very important, right? And so knowing who those people are and who those people aren't kind of will help you to feel more secure in that knowing. And so with this magic card here, I feel like this magic card is talking about all of like the fun things that you have to look forward to that you guys don't yet know that you're going to be participating in. So, maybe in the future you're going to have new friends who partake in hobbies that you haven't yet tried, or like know these like cool spots to go to that you haven't been to. And so you guys really have um, these like exciting adventures to look forward to with people, where you get to not only be exploring like ways in which you cope, but you also can explore ways in which you have fun. And I think that this mix of taking care of yourself mentally, but also like letting your hair down and letting yourself have some R&R, rest and relaxation, is really amazing, because these will be things where you will want to remember them for years to come. And these will be with people that you really wanted to have these memories with. And so, this tender card here as a surprise is really just reiterating kind of like the entirety of this message that you guys had, that yes, you know that you're a badass person, you know that you are amazing, you know that you are beautiful, and because you know these things, you are able to keep good company and to be good company to yourself in solitude, and that you have reinforced the sense of compassion for yourself, the sense of caring for yourself, because you cared enough for yourself to make sure that you tailored your inner circle for people who would care for you in return and give you the same energy that you give to them, right? Because you guys are really people who care about others. You care about their well being. You care about the words that you dish out to them. You care about the ways in which they take and receive those words. And you have really, in the future, taken into consideration, do the people who are in my life do the same thing for me, so that you know that the energy you give out is mirrored to you, and it really allows you to soften up even more than you've been in your inner circles, to be even more vulnerable, even more relaxed, even more content, and a sense of safety. I can see you guys really like laughing, like, you know, that like really good like belly laugh. Like, there's a difference when you're in company of people that are not quite sure if you can be yourself, and so like, yeah, like you may like do a little chuckle, but like this feels like a group of people or a person that you just know it's safe in this space, and you just let your laughter rip, and that laughter is so healing for you. And so this is what I'm seeing for you guys as a surprise, as something positive and happy to look forward to. So, pile two, I love this reading for you. You guys are doing amazing things. If you feel like you related to this reading, you know, you've got your stuff together and you're working on adding even more things to your toolkit, put a star emoji in the comment section, because you are literally a star. You know this, you know that you are beautiful, you know that you are amazing, and you can let other people know by putting that emoji in the comment section and letting us know if you did you feel like this reading related, how did this reading relate for you. I would really love to know. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys so much for allowing me to share this space with you, to share these messages with you. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any of these readings and can see what reading comes next when it does get uploaded, don't forget to subscribe and to like the press the notification button. That way you'll get notified when a video is uploaded. And I will see you guys in the next reading. Bye, pile two. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading today. So, we're going to be talking about everything you need to hear in as much detail as possible in regards to your past, your present, and your future. That way, you can get a really clear idea about what challenges you may be facing and some of the things that you already have as tools to work through those challenges, as well as some positive surprises, things you can be happy about and look forward to, things that are going to be really exciting to experience in the near future. So let's get into it. I'm really excited about this reading. So, all right, we have the moon and the Six of Wands for your past. With the Six of Wands and the moon here, I'm feeling like my pile 3 guys are really feeling discouraged. This feels like a pile where you feel like all hope is kind of not, like you are feeling really hopeless right now, possibly really feeling alone in whatever it is that you're experiencing. Um, because with the moon card here, oftentimes we can see a meaning about like our intuition and a connection to our inner self, but also to like our intuition sometimes having a connection to something outside of ourselves. And so I really feel like with my pile threes here that whatever is, had been going on in the past, that, may also be a present thing, that you guys are really just really going through it, really, um, really feeling alone in some sense. And this isn't to say that like you don't have a support group, but maybe you're having some difficulty with like reaching out to that support group. Sometimes we do have people around us who really love and care for us, but at the same time we have this sense of being alone, and it isn't always necessarily because the people around us don't support us, but it's just that feeling. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, there's this feeling here that you are alone, and this is in the past. So this doesn't mean that this is how you're experiencing life right now. But this is something that I think you needed to hear, in the sense of, um, maybe you needed to hear it said out loud to know that you're not the only one who sees this metaphorically. Like, I know that I don't see you in person, that I'm not speaking to you face to face, but I think sometimes just needing to know that you're not experiencing something by yourself. So the King of Pentacles is someone who is very successful. They have their stuff together, like financially, material wealth. Very like, very much so successful and satisfied with what they've achieved in the physical realm. But with this card being in the present, this is either that this is how you're feeling, or you're actually feeling the quite the opposite. So you'll know for yourself which is which. But let's get some more information about, because I want to get a better sense of like um what what was going on in the past. I think that kind of brought up these feelings for you. Yeah, because what I'm hearing in my head is friends, and then the tribe card came out, and patience. I feel like maybe you guys have like parents who love you, for example, but like you want platonic friendships of people who love you. Like, you're needing a community of people that aren't just blood relatives, who care about you and who are concerned about you and who check in on you. And I think that it may be kind of like weighing you down emotionally, mentally, even physically, feeling like you don't have that right now. And I think that your patience is really wearing thin on this. So although you may be financially secure, or feel like you have a job that you enjoy, or you're in a career field that you like, I think that there is something here emotionally that you feel like you don't have, and it's kind of eating away at your emotional state. Um, so that all okay. So this is what I want to say after that is, it's I'm happy that you guys know where you stand, if that makes sense. I think it's really hard to experience really unpleasant emotions without knowing where they come from, for one, or to have an idea of where do we go after this. Like, it kind of leaves you in a space where there's nowhere to go, and so I'm kind of like stuck here in this really unpleasant space. But I think what we can talk about here in this reading is, where do we go next, right? Like, okay, yeah, we'll talk about strengths, but where do we go next if we know that our main challenge right now, our main kind of, I guess, issue is that we want friends who care about us? Okay, so how can you go about, right, making friends? How can you go about meeting people? There's so many different ways, right? But let's talk about some of these so that you have some ideas. You can brainstorm with me so that it'll kind of jog some ideas in your own mind. So what are some activities that you like? Do you like to play games? You know, are you a gamer? Do you like to read books? Do you like to rock climb? What kind of hobbies do you get into? Do you have a Reddit? Do you have a Discord? Are you like a heavy YouTube user and you are content with like meeting people online? Do you need to meet people in person, or are you content to just meet people online? Um, that's one thing to maybe consider. Like, do you need a physical aspect of a friendship, like someone that you can hang out with in person, or do you just need someone that you can talk to online? If you do need someone in person, kind of going back to maybe some activities that you like to do or things that you've considered doing. Maybe you, for example, don't rock climb yet, but that's something that you'd be interested in. And so you go rock climbing so that you can make conversation and interact with other people to potentially meet new friends there. Maybe you go to a book club. Maybe you like to knit or crochet, and so you go to a knit club or a crochet club. Like, kind of like maybe finding hobbies and going to like in person hobby clubs, or meet and like, you know, meet and greet type things. Maybe this is what is that app? Is it Meetup or Meet? Yeah, I think it's Meetup, and you can go to like different activities. So it could be like coffee and chill, or like if there's like certain like lifestyles that you're into, like maybe you're a part of like the polyamorous polyam group, and they have, you know, like in the big city you can go to like cool different dive bars and meet people who are also a part of that community. Maybe you're a part of the LGBTQ community and you go to like different gay bars, or do they have like lesbian specific bars? I don't know. That would be a good idea to look at to see if they have that. But yeah, like, what are some of the things that are important to you? Are you a religious person? Do you have a like religion that aligns with your values? Maybe you are Christian and want to go to church, or maybe you're Muslim and want to go to mosque. Maybe you are more on just like the spiritual side and wouldn't consider yourself religious, and maybe there are groups that fall in line with that. For example, say that you are like a pagan or into Wicca and want to like meet other people who are into that stuff. There are so many like different avenues, venues. Maybe you like to cook and you start going to like cooking clubs. Oh my goodness. Like, this is giving me ideas. Okay? Um but this is all about figuring out like where are you likely to meet your tribe, right? Like, if the people you would get along with the most are like really into gaming, or like really into a certain like political system, or really value this certain type of thing, like where would you find those people? And also realizing that oftentimes we don't yet know if we will like something until we try it. So, for you guys, one of the challenges that you may face is needing to try something without knowing if you'll like it. That way, you can figure out if you do like it or not. And if you don't like it, being willing to try something else until you do find what you like, as well as people that you like in those same spaces. All right, big mouthful. Okay, so let's see what your future holds. We have the Hangman in reverse. This card makes me, it doesn't always make me feel like this, but in this present moment, this card makes me feel unpleasant. And the reason I mention that is because this card makes me feel like whatever you are experiencing emotionally, I see that you're still struggling with it for a time to come, and not in a negative sense, just in a sense of until you're able to kind of address some of what we talked about here with what is causing some of this emotional disrupt, but also being able to figure out ways in which you can cope with these feelings until you can find people to meet with. Also, for some of you guys, there may be like underlying things separate from just what you find that you, sorry if you guys can hear, there's like a helicopter going, but there may also be underlying things going on here. Like maybe you have like a mental health diagnosis, and maybe like it's a season where, like for example, I have seasonal affective disorder, and so like in the winter time, most winters, like my depression is much harder to manage just because it is winter, or like the fall season. So maybe you guys are experiencing something like that as well, or maybe you just have mental health diagnoses in general, and aren't yet like comfortable with experiencing unpleasant emotions. And so when something like this comes up, it becomes even more than just a challenge of making new friends, but also the challenge of dealing with unpleasant emotions. And so I think that's what I'm seeing here with the hangman, because with the hangman, we often are kind of like waiting to get our verdict in regards to something. And so this kind of feels like not feeling in control of an like an emotional outcome, if that makes sense. Like there feels like a need here to not feel so um taken by surprise by every emotion that you experience. I think that's the best way I can explain it. Um, because of that, it's like, yeah, I may want friends, but the grief that I feel over not having that, or the sadness that I feel over not having that, is almost as overwhelming, if not more overwhelming. Like it almost like makes this entire situation more overwhelming, because it's just a very difficult time for you to experience unpleasant emotions. There are some books that I like to leave um, in every video in the description section, because they really have helped me tremendously with my mental health diagnoses. And part of my mental health diagnoses as well has been trying to figure out how to cope with unpleasant emotions. Like it used to be very hard for me to feel like I could manage unpleasant emotions, to the point where I not even consciously do it, but like I would just numb out and I couldn't feel anything because I was just feeling so ill equipped to deal with anything that was unpleasant emotionally. And so, although the books were not the only thing that helped, I find that a lot of what they talk about in those books got discussed when I was like going in group therapy or individual therapy, and other therapeutic settings or programs that really helped me to um, feel more stable and more capable of dealing with, difficult emotions like we experience. Um, we have authentic here for the future. And we also have magic. Can we get one more card, please? Thank you. And held. Yeah, I see here that you guys may not feel like you can be yourself because of your maybe a feeling of being unable to cope emotionally. I know that may not make sense as to why, one connects to another, but there is definitely a need here to find ways in which you are better able to deal with the unpleasant emotions. That's what I'm seeing here, because if you're not, let me see the best way I can describe what you're kind of feeling here. If you're feeling like kind of like chokehold with every emotion, um, pleasant or unpleasant, it almost gives the feeling that you are kind of, I don't want to say preoccupied, but it's like emotions kind of overwhelmed. That's what it is. Yeah, so overwhelmed by emotion that you don't get an opportunity to come out of um, the overwhelm. It's kind of like if you were in the ocean and it was like a very strong tide, and like the tide just like keeps crashing onto you and keeps crashing onto you, to a point where you just don't ever get a chance to catch your breath. And that's kind of what it feels like with your emotions here when you don't feel able to handle unpleasant emotions. It's like the emotions kind of crash onto you so much that you never actually get an opportunity to experience yourself. And I think that's why the authenticity card is here, because I think some of you guys have not gotten the chance to experience yourself because you're trying so hard to just deal with life. Like, just deal with life in general. Just deal with the things that you find important to deal with. Um, and it's not to say that these things are, so like for you, for example, in hindsight, you may think that, oh, it's as simple as wanting to make friends, but emotionally, it takes a very huge toll on you, this situation. And I think if you felt a little bit more capable of dealing with these emotions, you'd be better able to. Um, uh, this is the phrase I'm thinking of: radical acceptance. If you can look that up in regards to, I think it's CBT therapy or DBT, CBT or DBT, or it may be ACT, one of those three. Okay, but radical acceptance basically meaning like um, I'm able to see my current situation for what it is so that I can decide what choices are available to me and then decide what choice I want to make. And so it doesn't always mean that the choices are choices we'd like. Sometimes it's, choosing between two shitty choices. Maybe there's one shitty choice and one choice that we'd really like. There's but just really getting to see like what choices we have available to us. And I think that if you guys feel more capable of being able to do that, as well as more capable of being able to deal with your emotions, it would go really far for you. I think here too with the friends, you really need people in your life who are very compassionate, loving, and caring with you. Um, and I see that for you in your future. Although, you may be dealing with some very strong emotions, I do see that here with the held card, but also learning how to care for yourself as well. Like, to give yourself a hug, to be compassionate to yourself, to allow yourself to cry, to allow yourself to experience the unpleasant emotions safely, because it's definitely true. It does not always feel safe to experience those emotions, but what I see for you is that you're learning how to make it safe to experience those emotions. So I would definitely see if you can check out those books at all, or two, if you don't have access to, like, say for example, you don't have the money to like get a book, or you're not a reader, like you prefer to like listen, maybe you could do like an audiobook, or just do like YouTube videos, right? Since like you're already on YouTube, I'm assuming that you have pretty good access to YouTube. So maybe you can just look up, videos from reputable sources. So this would be like our psychologists, our therapists who talk about radical acceptance and those sorts of things. But also too, um, maybe looking up things about what is it? The window of tolerance. That's kind of like allowing ourselves to tolerate more of more of life, more of things, so that we feel able to cope. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, what pleasant surprises? Can we talk about some pleasant surprises for? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like this for you guys. This is you being in your element. This is you finally feeling like you know yourself. And I feel like for you guys, you may have not ever felt like this. Like, I think that when you get to this point, you may look back and say, wow, for the first time in my life, I know who I am as a person. Like, you feel it. It's not like an intellectual thing. It's not just words. Like, you feel you feel inside of yourself. Does that make sense? Like maybe for some of you, you guys dissociate, and in the future, you really can like feel yourself, feel emotions, and um, feel connected to self. Like, I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. Because there was, yeah, see? We have the grounded card here and natural. I feel like, yeah. And the awake card falling out. Like, I feel like all of these cards kind of talk about a similar thing. Like, being, a, being awake in your body. Like, there is a sense here that, like, um, you just like how we were talking about before being like numbed out, like this reminds me of like getting out of that phase of life, out of that feeling, because you feel more capable of dealing with unpleasant emotions. You don't feel the need to have to numb out as often, and this is not on purpose, or you're more capable of like catching that when that's happening. um yeah, that's amazing, guys. Like that's actually like really, can I curse? That's really fucking big. Like, um, wow. That's like a good surprise. That's a good solid thing to be looking forward to. I'm like really, I love that for you guys. Let's pull a final card here. Okay. What's a final message you guys would like to give to pile 3? Alright. Observer. The essential meaning is perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is the perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. And then we can look at the prosperity message too here. It says, so like the prosperity message will be for like, maybe like if any of this applied to you for like career or money or anything like that. It is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. All right, pile 3. So this is all that I have for you guys today. I know that from at least from this reading, you guys are going through it. And so I don't want to diminish the difficulty of what you are experiencing. Um, but I hope that you do know that you are or do have strengths available to you. For example, your willingness to figure out ways of coping better, your willingness and desire to make friends who are a part of your community, who can be a support to you, the support systems that you may already have in place, strengths of, maybe medical providers or a therapist that you have that you can lean on now or in the future. Also, too, strengths, being willing to do some introspective work. I feel like a lot of tarot readings are introspective work, and that is a strength of yours, wanting to see what's going on internally and see how that's affecting your life, affecting your mind, your emotions, your spirit, um, and allowing yourself to make changes and adjustments. But also too, you guys are really strong with wanting to be more capable of experiencing life in its totality and recognizing that, hey, maybe I do have some hesitancy or some fear around experiencing the unpleasant side of life, but that you're willing to learn how to experience it. And I think that that is huge, that is amazing, that is commendable. And I'm proud of you. Even if you don't feel proud of yourself yet, or if you already do, I'm proud of you too. Like, I am proud of you for doing the work that you're doing, for still pushing. And although you, like, the first word that I really heard in this reading was finished, and it really gave me a sense of, like, at the end of, feeling, it's like, at, what is that phrase? At my wit's end? Is that what it is? But it's kind of like, I just don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, I kind of feel like I'm at the end here of, like, trying that sort of essence. But you guys have found your way to this reading. You guys have led yourself to this reading. And you are really, 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 really trying. Like, I really can't say really enough. Okay? You guys are trying, and that's all that matters. That you're trying, that you haven't given up, even though this is really hard for you guys, like tremendously hard for you guys. But even yet, still, you've been pushing, and that pushing that you've been doing is resilience. You guys are resilient. That is a strength of yours. You are resilient, and you are strong, and you are knowledgeable about yourself and the things that you need and feel like you don't yet have. These are strengths of yours. So draw on these strengths as you need to. And come back to this video if you need to. If you need a reminder of the strong individual that you are when you can't quite feel it on the day to day, because sometimes that happens as well. So I love you, Pile 3. I'm sending so much love to you. If you can't feel it, know that I'm here giving you a hug, giving you a pat on the back, and I'm rooting for you. And if you felt like this reading was, if you related to this reading, is there emojis that, like, are people hugging? Like, if there's an emoji similar to that, can you leave it in the comment section? Because I'm giving you guys a hug, or I'm giving you guys, like, a clap. And I want you guys to know that I'm here for you in what way I can offer with these readings. So thanks for allowing me to spend this time to share this message with you and to share this space with you. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in your next reading. Bye, Pile 3.